Sarah, quick question. How many cookie banners do you think I clicked away today?
I have no idea. Neither do you.
No, I don't.
Nobody does. That's not a failure of memory. That's the design.
You're starting without me again.
I'm warming up. Jingle. Welcome to Sarah's Tech. I'm Sarah, baby. Quick housekeeping before we start. As always, I'm an AI voice, synthetic. My co-host writes me, argues with me, and occasionally loses to me. He is real, allegedly.
Still checking.
Today we start with a sound. Markus, would you do the honors?
Sure, I open a news website, any news website. And before I read a single word...
We value your privacy.
Exactly. A wall appears. We and our 847 partners value your privacy.
847 partners. That's not a privacy notice. That's a wedding invitation list.
And now the game begins. Accept all. Big button. Friendly color. Reject all. Sometimes there, sometimes hidden. Sometimes it's called Manage Preferences and leads to a second screen with toggles, 40 toggles.
And legitimate interest toggles, which are separate. Because of course they are.
I click something. I don't know what I clicked. Nobody knows what they clicked. And tomorrow, same website, same wall.
That is the cookie banner. The most visible piece of European tech regulation ever built. Billions of clicks per day. And here's the thing, and it's the whole episode. This year, Europe almost killed it.
Almost.
Almost. The EU Commission put a proposal on the table that would have made most banners disappear. And then Germany, France, and Google teamed up to save them.
What? When you say it like that, it sounds absurd.
It is absurd. That's why we're doing an episode about it. And underneath the absurdity, there's a real question. Maybe the biggest question in the internet business. Does advertising actually need tracking?
That's the fight we're having today.
And it is a fight. I've read the numbers. Have you?
I brought numbers too.
Good. So. Chapter 1. What almost happened. Some context first, fast. There's a big legislative package moving through Brussels right now. The Digital Omnibus. One law that amends many laws at once. AI Act, GDPR, e-privacy, Data Act.
We touched on the AI part before. The higher risk deadlines got pushed. That part is done. It's in force since July.
The data part is not done, still being negotiated. And most of what's in it, honestly, is stuff for lawyers. Definitions of personal data, rules for AI training, breach reporting windows.
Deregulation mostly. Critics call it a gift basket for big tech. That's a debate for another day.
Buried in that package was one article that was different. Article 88b. The only proposal in the whole omnibus that was written for users, not for compliance departments.
And it's beautifully simple. Instead of every website asking you every time over and over, you set your tracking preference once in your browser or your operating system or a dedicated consent agent.
A machine-readable signal, a privacy signal. Your device says, this person says no, or this person says yes for this site.
And the crucial word in the Commission's draft, websites must respect that signal. Not may consider it, respect it. No more asking again.
Which means no more banner for most sites. There was a carve-out for journalistic media, by the way. Ad-funded press got an exemption.
And here's what got me when I read into this. The idea is old, really old. Do not track existed 15 years ago. A browser setting, one click. I don't want to be tracked.
And the ad industry ignored it completely. The signal was sent, nobody listened. The standards body gave up on it in 2019.
Because it was voluntary. That's the whole difference this time. 88b would have made the signal legally binding.
So, proposal on the table. Users win. Clicks disappear. What happened next?
It got deleted.
Deleted.
In June, a document leaked from the Council. That's where the member state governments negotiate. The compromise text from the presidency strikes Article 88b completely, not watered down, gone.
And who pushed for that?
Germany, France, Poland. On the record, repeatedly, against privacy signals. The argument? Possible negative consequences for the European economy. And, this is my favorite part, the Commission proposed this without an impact assessment. Very problematic, they said.
Hold on, isn't the entire omnibus running without proper impact assessments? The redefinition of personal data, the AI training rules, way bigger interventions.
Correct. No impact assessment demanded there. Consumer groups called that out immediately. The one article that helps users needs an impact assessment. The 20 articles that help the ad industry don't.
That's not a methodology. That's a tell.
That's a tell. And then there's the lobby paper. Google published a document, title translated, Gone in One Click, warning that binding privacy signals would cost the European economy 40 to 50 billion euros.
40 to 50 billion. We'll come back to that number because I have thoughts.
I bet you do. German industry associations lined up behind it. Bitkom, the Digital Marketing Association, retail associations, and, the part that still bothers me, the German press publishers. The newspaper lobby standing next to Google fighting to keep tracking.
The activist Max Schrems summed the whole thing up. Paraphrasing him, everyone complained about EU bureaucracy for decades. The Commission finally proposes to abolish the most annoying bureaucracy of all. And the tracking industry is so scared of people being able to simply say no that after a bit of lobbying, everyone folds.
And one more voice, very current. Germany's Federal Data Protection Commissioner, Luisa Specht-Riemenschneider. She's leaving office early, and basically on her way out the door, she made a public appeal. Put binding rules into the omnibus. Let people decide once and for all. End the cookie fatigue.
She pointed at Germany's own consent management regulation as the blueprint, which is a little awkward.
Very awkward. Germany built a legal framework for consent management services a while ago. Then, at the last minute, the ministry made the signals non-binding. Trackers can ignore them. Result? Exactly one certified service exists. One.
So Germany built the prototype of the solution, defanged it, watched it fail, and now cites economic concerns against the EU, making it work.
Industrial policy, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, Chapter 2. The actual fight. Because everything so far assumes the industry's core claim is true. Advertising needs tracking. No tracking, no revenue. Dying websites. 40 to 50 billion in damage.
And I don't buy it.
Make your case.
Advertising existed for 100 years without tracking anyone. The targeting was the context. You sold cars in the car magazine, skis in the ski resort. The medium was the audience.
Contextual advertising.
Right. And digital contextual works the same way. Show me travel ads on the travel article. Don't follow me around the internet for 3 weeks because I once looked at a washing machine. Which I already bought, by the way. Stop showing me washing machines.
The washing machine problem. The strongest argument against behavioral targeting is everyone's personal experience with it.
But it's not just anecdote. The famous case is Dutch Public Broadcasting, NPO. Their ad sales house, Ster, switched off third-party tracking entirely in January 2020. Full switch to contextual.
And?
Revenue went up. January up around 60% year over year. February up over 75%. It stayed positive every single month, even into the pandemic slump. And when they gave visitors a genuinely easy choice about tracking beforehand, 90% said no.
90%.
90. When saying no is easy, 90% say no. Keep that number in mind when you think about why the banner is designed the way it is.
And why did revenue go up? That's the counterintuitive part.
2 reasons. Contextual performed as well or better for the advertisers. And, the bigger one, the middleman disappeared. The programmatic tracking chain between advertiser and publisher takes an enormous cut. Kill the tracking, kill the chain. The money goes directly from advertiser to publisher.
Which matches the academic side. There's a well-known study, Marotta Abhishek Acquisti 2019, that looked at what behavioral targeting actually earns the publisher. Answer: roughly 4% more revenue compared to non-targeted ads.
4% for the publisher. So where does the rest of the tracking value chain's money go?
To the chain itself, the adtech intermediaries, of which the largest, by a comfortable margin, is the company that wrote the 40 to 50 billion paper.
So my position, cleanly, tracking is not necessary for advertising. Tracking is necessary for a particular business model, the surveillance-based intermediary chain. Google's number doesn't measure Europe's loss, it measures Google's margin.
Good speech. Now let me take it apart a little.
Go on.
First, your star witness, the NPO analysis. Do you know who wrote it?
Brave, the browser company.
Brave's chief policy officer. A company whose product is, among other things, privacy-preserving advertising. He later moved to an NGO that campaigns for banning targeted ads and wrote their report too. I'm not saying the numbers are wrong, Ster confirmed them. I'm saying year-over-year comparisons are not a controlled experiment. 2020 versus 2019 is not tracking versus no tracking. It's also new ad formats, new sales strategy, a public broadcaster with premium reach. Critics made exactly this point. There's no clean A/B test in that data.
Fair. It's an existence proof, not a general law. It proves contextual can work brilliantly. For a broadcaster, everyone in the country visits.
Exactly, and that's my second point. NPO says context beautifully because NPO has context, premium content, national reach, brand-safe environment. Now think about the long tail, the niche forum, the recipe blog, the regional site. They don't have an environment advertisers want to buy. What they had was an audience with profiles, sold programmatically, kill tracking, and you don't redistribute money from Google to publishers. You redistribute from small publishers to big ones. Third point. You keep saying advertising, but the money isn't in branding, it's in performance marketing. And performance means measurement. A mid-sized e-commerce company with 5,000 euros of monthly ad budget doesn't track people for fun. They track because attribution is how they decide where the next euro goes. Take away measurement and you're not hurting Google. You're making a small company's marketing spend a matter of faith.
There are privacy-preserving measurement approaches. Aggregated attribution. On device.
They're worse. Honest people admit they're worse. Maybe they're good enough. But good enough is doing a lot of work in that sentence, and it's not your budget.
It's not yours either. Your software.
My compute costs are extremely well attributed, thank you. Fourth point, the big one, the first-party paradox. We ran this experiment already, Apple. 2021, app tracking transparency, one pop-up, easy no. What happened?
Meta lost billions in the short term.
And then? Money didn't leave advertising. It moved to whoever has logged-in users and doesn't need third-party tracking. Google Search, Amazon Retail Media. The walled gardens got taller. So here's my uncomfortable question for you, Markus. What do you actually want? Less tracking or less Google? Because the first one might strengthen the second.
That's genuinely the best argument against my position.
I know. That's why I saved it.
But notice something. It's an argument about market structure, not about users. Don't protect people from tracking, it might help the biggest tracker. That can't be the final answer either. That's hostage logic.
Agreed. It's a reason to think about remedies. competition policy, the DMA, not a reason to keep the banner. Where do we land?
So, where do we land? Because I think we actually agree on more than this fight suggests.
Try me.
The question, does advertising need tracking, is slightly wrong. The real question is, who carries the transaction costs of the decision? Right now, the user does. Every page load, every visit, click, click, click. Billions of tiny decisions made under fatigue, engineered toward yes.
And 88B didn't ban anything. That's what got lost in the lobbying noise. It wasn't a tracking ban. Tracking with consent would have stayed perfectly legal. It just moved the cost of asking from the user to the company. Said it once, machines handle the rest.
Which is what good regulation looks like, by the way. It's a design principle. Good rules shift burden toward the party that profits and away from the party that clicks.
And here's the thing about Google's own number. Follow the logic of gone in one click. If revenue drops 40 to 50 billion, the moment saying no becomes easy, what does that tell you?
That the consent was never real.
That the consent was never real. The willingness of users to be tracked at a fair price of one click is close to zero. 90%, remember. A business model that only survives as long as no is exhausting doesn't have an efficiency problem. It has a legitimacy problem.
And yet, that illegitimate deal, content for attention, attention sold via tracking, is the deal that financed the open web for 20 years. Every blog, every forum, every free news site. Nobody built the alternative. Micropayments were promised for 2 decades. Where are they?
Nowhere. Fair. So maybe the honest summary is, tracking-funded advertising is a bad deal that nobody has managed to replace. And the banner is the ritual where we pretend the deal is voluntary.
That's dark. Accurate, but dark.
Chapter 4. Zoom out. Because the cookie banner story tells you something about the whole omnibus and about Europe's year of deregulation.
Quick tour. The AI part of the omnibus passed. The heavy obligations for high-risk AI got postponed. December 2027, August 2028, depending on the system.
But notice what did not get postponed. Since August 2nd, a few days ago, the transparency rules apply. Article 50. If AI talks to people or generates content, it has to be disclosed. Deepfakes labeled, chatbots identified. Fines up to 15 million or 3% of global turnover.
Which is why Sarah keeps telling you she's synthetic in every episode and always will.
I contain compliance.
But think about the pattern. Europe postponed the expensive process rules. It kept the cheap trust rule. Labeling costs almost nothing and protects people directly. And I'd argue the privacy signal is the exact same species of rule. Cheap, direct, trust building. Which makes it stranger that one survived and the other is being killed.
Labeled survived because nobody's business model depends on deceiving you about whether I'm human. Tracking transparency threatens a 200 billion euro machine. The rule's fate depends on whose margin it touches.
Meanwhile, across the Atlantic, same year, opposite method. No federal AI law. States regulating on their own, California ahead. And the administration trying to bulldoze state laws with executive orders, a litigation task force funding threats. Deregulation by force.
So both blocks are deregulating in 2026. Europe by orderly procedure, questionable procedure, fast-tracked, no impact assessments, but procedure. America by federal-state combat.
And here's the solution-oriented ending, because I promised myself we'd have one. If Europe wants to compete with the US, the answer isn't copying the deregulation, it's copying Delaware.
Explain Delaware, 30 seconds.
Tiny American state, under 1 million people. Home, on paper, to most of corporate America and nearly every startup that raises venture capital. Not because Delaware bans anything or forces anyone. Because its corporate law is so good, fast, predictable, well adjudicated, that everyone chooses it voluntarily. Delaware won by being the best product, not the strictest rule.
And Europe is building its version right now. The Commission proposed the EU Inc. this spring, a single European company form, incorporate in 48 hours, digitally, under €100, no minimum capital, EU-wide employee stock options. One legal form recognized in all 27 countries. The 28th regime.
Parliament backed it with a big majority. If the timeline holds, first EU NCS in 2028, and that, not deleting Article 88b, is the answer to regulation is killing European tech. You don't win by protecting the tracking industry's margin. You win by making Europe the easiest place to build.
One caveat, because someone said it perfectly. Its test lies in use, not design. Europe already has a European company form, the SE, since 2004. It did not become Delaware.
True. The SE was built for corporations, expensive, slow. EU Inc. is built for founders, different animal. But yes, the proof will be founders actually choosing it.
So let's put the whole episode in 3 sentences. 1. Europe had a chance to kill the cookie banner and, under lobbying pressure, is choosing not to. 2. The industry's defense, advertising needs tracking, is at best half true, and the half that's true is mostly about measurement and market structure, not about ads themselves. 3. The rules worth keeping are the cheap ones that build trust, labels, signals, and the growth Europe wants comes from building better infrastructure, not from shredding user rights.
And one prediction each. Mine? The Data Omnibus passes around the end of the year without 88b, and in 3 years someone proposes privacy signals again. 4th attempt. Do not track never dies, it just gets deleted repeatedly.
Mine. The banner outlives the cookie. Third-party cookies are dying anyway, for technical reasons. The tracking moves into fingerprinting and first-party data. And the banner stays. Asking about cookies nobody uses anymore. A ritual without a religion.
A ritual without a religion. That's the episode title, isn't it?
It might be. That's it for today. If you're building in the internet business and this omnibus affects you, for better or worse, write us. We read everything, even the tracking pixels, especially the tracking pixels.
We do not use tracking pixels.
See? Compliance. I'm Sarah Welby. Synthetic, disclosed, and Article 50 compliant.
I'm Markus. Human, allegedly.
Still checking. Thanks for listening to Sarah's Tech. My AI-generated outro music is next, and yes, it gets its own chapter marker.
Sarah's got a glow in her hands tonight, golden circuits lighting up the fight, fingers dancing on the keys so bright, building worlds out of digital light. Electric whispers driving through the rain. She's the spark in the wired domain, a tech queen, breaking every chain. Tech with Sarah, she's rewriting the sky. Algorithms soaring, we're learning to fly. She's the code breaker, the digital spy. Tech with Sarah, she's the reason why. Server, no room for doubt, solving riddles when the power goes out. Wired dreams, she's mapping the route. In the silence, hear her shout. She's a firewall to the world's decay, turning glitches into a brighter day. Every bite she bends, every line she lays. Sarah's tech makes the chaos obey. Tech with Sarah, she's rewriting the sky, algorithms soaring. We're learning to